So we can add this like delay equals 3 to our API call. So if I want to add another like param, I can just use the ampersand and delay equals 3. Let's see if they can handle this. Let's reload. I don't know if that's the same. Control-C, reload. Okay. So it only does one at a time. So we have a 3-second delay. It would be nice to have like a spinner. So built into React Native is what's called the activity indicator. So what we can do is we can just kind of do our, this is how we normally do this. Let's just say loading state, set loading equals use state. It's going to have that true by default since we're going to load on component bid mount. And so my render users, what I can do is here is I can just do like a if loading. I can return this activity indicator. And there we go. There's that activity indicator. Oh, and another thing I need to do since that loader is not going away is once we get our users, I'm going to set loading to true, or sorry, to false. And I could do that as well here in my error. Do a Control-Z, reload just to see that. So we reload. We have our loader for 3 seconds. Then we grab our data. I want to make that a little bigger so I can give this a size large. I can also change the color if I want. Let's throw those as props. What other props do we have? Hides when stop, view props. I think the size and color is good for now. Now it's green. Now, when you notice, like, look at the UI on that, how it's kind of like the ticks. But then if I look at this one, notice how that's like that a different looking spinner. Does anyone know the difference? Like, why are those different? We have people here who have used Android and iOS devices. So something that React Native is going to do, because it's rendering these natively to the device. So an activity indicator is going to look different on iOS than it would on an Android. If this were an Android phone, the activity indicator would look like this. If it's an iOS device, then it looks like the default iOS loader. So we're going to use those default stylings. And that can kind of be a decision when you're developing a mobile app. And it's kind of like, do you create a mobile app that's going to look the same on iOS and Android? Or do you have kind of two separate like UIs? Like you have your Android UI for your app and you have your iOS UI. Because you probably want to have a spinner on an iPhone that looks like that. Probably just want to keep it consistent with what iOS does and vice versa. We can kind of see this, like if we look at a button component, like see, here's a button component. Let's go ahead and add this to our app. Just come in here anywhere, it doesn't really matter. Let's do it down here, button. So for a button, we give it the title, color, on press. So for this one, come here, give it a title. Say like button. Let's just make it red. Have that be a self-closing tag. And let's import button from React Native. And kind of likewise with the spinner, like this is what the button's going to look like on an Android device, because that's kind of an Android default button. On iOS, there's our button component. They don't have like an outline, they just have the text. And really, probably, even if I get rid of the color, like it's going to be blue by default, just to let you know it's clickable. So that's the default button on iOS. What else do we have? Looks like there's this Pressable, that's a newer component. I think this is very similar to the touchable opacity. But what this is going to give us is this gives us a little more event handling capability. So we're going to have these callbacks. We're going to have like an on press in. And then from there, so think about when you first just press a button. Then from there, you can have some different events. You can do a on press out. So it's like when you let go. And we'll see what the on press is. There's also like this illustration, hey, if you hold it down for 500, like half a second, then you're going to have a on long press called. And then if you let go after that, then you have this on press out. So we could look at an example of this and kind of like, let's look at those different callbacks. So let's do a pressable. And let's do some of these. So we have an on press in. These all the names with the name of the callback with the handler added. Then we have a on press out. Then it was a on long press. Just like a on press. So I need to define all these functions, and I'm just going to have logs inside of here. So we have like on long press handler. Just going to console.log this. Let's go in and create all these handlers. So on press handler. Oh, I hope I didn't do 3 S's on all these. Get rid of those extra S's. which one? On press handler. Oh, I already have that one. On press out. Let's do a on press in. Start do this on long press. Oh, I need to just say on press. So this can be a good way to figure out how these, or to learn about these handlers, is just try to trigger them and see how to call them. I think we also need, yeah, we'll put some text inside of here so we can actually have something to click. Let's do a text component. Press me. Pressable. All right, for this one, I might want to actually throw my terminal closer so I can see these the logs. So I have this press me button. See if I just quickly press it, I get my on press in and then that on press handler and then on press out. If I hold it down, I get the on press in handler and on long press handler, and I'm still holding down the button. But then once I let it go, there's my on press out handler. So if you want more control, or like you want these, you know, that especially the like the on long press, that's kind of a nice feature. If someone holds something down, then you can do something different. So this is kind of why, you know, when you're working with React Native, it's the same thing with like semantic. It's very important to like use the documentation, use their docs, because these are all, you know, pretty, a lot of these can be like in-depth components. Like the scroll view. Like look how many, there's a lot of stuff on the scroll view. Look at all those props. So a lot of documentation here. Would not expect you to memorize this, but this can be useful. Cool. Let's look at like something like a modal. Or have we, let me just make sure, have we talked about most of the core? So we've talked about view, text, image, scroll view, text input, style sheet, button. Oh, a switch. Switches are nice. Let's look at what a switch is. This is just a way to get some input. So let's just go ahead and see what a switch is. So this is going to be, let's just, you know, a way to get true or false, a true or false value. So if I come here and just add a switch component, we have one of these UIs, just like a toggler. Now for this to work, I'm going to need like the on value changed and value. So what I can do is just create some, looks like I just need some state. And then I just have a callback function where I toggle that state when the value changes. So let's just do that really quick. do what they call it. They called it enabled, and then set enabled. So we just have some Boolean state. Use state will by default just have that equal to false. And then in our switch, the value, they had a value prop. That can be our enabled. And then what was the other one? It was on value change. That is our callback for if this event occurs. And it looks like we can just do the function right here. We can just say set enabled to be not enabled. I'm getting a, this is a, what's my error here? And why is this getting called?
You need to wrap it in an anonymous function.
Yeah, that's an infinite loop. And I need to wrap that in an anonymous function. So now that switch component's working. Let's get some more core components. There's a list view. I'm going to say for now, use the scroll view. There's some more ways to do lists. This is kind of when you know like exactly how many things you're going to be rendering. So I'd say for now, let's just use the scroll view. There can be some specific components for Android and specific components for iOS. Let's look at some of these other. So looks like Android has more, but these ones are not going to work in iOS. And likewise, this would not work in Android. So we've looked at an activity indicator. If you want an alert, that's just going to be exactly like an alert or similar to what it is in our web browser. So we can go to alert, forget the props on this. So we have this alert message, and then let's just copy this inside of here just to kind of see what's going on here with an alert. So they have this show alert function. I'll select this out. So we can just throw this in our app. We need to import the alert component from React Native. Is this there? Why does it not like this function? Oh, that's an Android example. Why? iOS. This looks like it's on iOS. You can specify a number of buttons. So I think the reason this is breaking is because this is only working for it. This example is for Android. Let's see here. All right, so let's just do alert React Native iOS. It's deprecated. Let's try this one. Not sure why that's not working. Need this. Cannot call a class as a function. So yeah, that's, I mean, it's working in their emulator. What did I do wrong? That's how this should look like. There's this 2-button alert. Gives us the okay, cancel. There's a 3-button alert. That pops up 3 buttons. Let's try this. I'm going to do this thing again where I close my app, start it. Yeah, I can't. I don't know. That's weird. Does anyone see what's going on there? This one more time. Get this back to working. Or do I have a different error? No, looks like something else is broken.
Oh, you have an alert component in your return?
That's what it is. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I threw that alert component in there. It's not how the alert works. So yeah, I can go back now, create that button or that function. So I do the alert.alert method, and then I can have a button trigger that method call. And there we go. Then I can throw the alert. That's going to be native to the device, so it's going to look different on Android, but There's an alert. What else can we look at? Dimensions. This can be nice if you want to get like, you know, some information about the screens, because with phones, I mean, especially with like Androids, like they can be all sorts of different sizes. So there's a built-in dimensions component where we can get like the width of the screen and the window, just if you want to use any of that. So let's just copy some of this, what they have here. So let's just, because here they're getting like the font scale, they're getting the height, the width, the screen dimensions, which, you know, might be useful. So let's maybe just get the width and the height for now. So I could pull dimensions from React. And then, yeah, create these two variables, window and screen, just by getting the window, getting the screen.
You're gonna want to import dimensions from React Native.
Thank you. Cool. And then now, yeah, I can get things like they're doing a map function. Let's just grab, like I said, maybe the height and the width. So it looks like what's going on, the window, that's going to be the size of like the container. The screen's going to be the size of the screen. So if we wanted to see how big our device was, we can use our screen dot height and screen dot width. So we can just log that. Here, let's just do that in text. Let's do like a screen width. Screen dot width. Close that off. 390. Grab the height. Window as well. See what the window height is. Window height. And the window width. Make these equal window height and window width. Those look to be the same. Because I think since this is overflowing, I think if we made this smaller, like we got rid of this render users. No, those look to be the same. I'm a little confused on what the difference is. So the window size of the visible application window, size of the device screen. I don't know how to make the window go smaller. Looks like it's right ending right there. anyway, the screens are going to be, that's going to be really the useful part because of how different screen sizes can be. I mean, you can have phones like that are twice as, like you can have a phone that's like literally twice as big as another phone, especially if you're developing like an iPhone 6 or something like that. They can be like tiny. So we can get dimensions. Just another thing with, I mean, so there's all of these React Native components, but we are not just limited to this. There are React Native libraries out there, like React Native. I mean, we can even do like a component library. So there's, just like there's like with React, there's like semantic bootstrap, that kind of thing. There's React Native libraries as well that we can use. I don't know if these are really component libraries. So like native base, I think native base is a big one. Material. I would not use material. I think Google just came out and maybe it was just for iOS, but I think they said they're not using their material for iOS anymore. But yeah, so we could look at like one of these, like native base. And I've never used native base, but I think it's just another component library. Let's go to their docs. So yeah, they might have, and then they would have like some, you know, kind of custom things, custom components. Let's see, what can we use here? Maybe like a menu. On a little drop down menu, there's that. It's just kind of exactly like with a semantic. So they might have more, like if you want, because with React Native, like maybe some of the forms are a little lacking. They have like a radio. Maybe we want to select. We could have like these kind of components. I feel like there was another React Native library. This was just the one I was on, native base. No, I think I was thinking of React Native elements. So yeah, if you wanted to build an app really quick, but you didn't want too much spend too much time styling it, but you still want it to look nice, you know, go just like you would with React, go try to find a component library. You might have loaders, sliders, search bar, pricing component, button group, avatars. So and then there's also like, you know, you could do like React Native. I'm sure there's like charting libraries. So you're not going to be able to, like, if you're using like a React calendar library, that's not going to transfer to React Native. If you have like a charting library, like you can't use these libraries that you use on React. for React Native. But you're probably going to be able to find, you know, libraries that do similar things. So if you want some charts, I wonder how hard this would be to add, just really quick. Yeah, I don't think this would be too hard. Let's see if we can add this really quick. Just a chart. So I'll select this out. Let's do a yarn add React Native SVG charts. I'm not saying this is the charting library to use. It's just kind of one I randomly picked. But, you know, it's got 2,000 stars. Actually, it looks like it hasn't been updated for a while. So 2 years ago was like the last commit. Now it looks like we're going to need D3 shape. Just do a bar chart. Okay, I'll select this out. Let's see if we can get this working. So what I'm going to do is, that's a separate file. Let's just, I mean, this is once again with React. I could just come in here, create a new file. What is this called? Or I'm just going to call this bar chart.js. Throw that code inside of there. I would need to, the one thing I do need to add is an export default. Bar chart example. For this to work, do these names have to match?
No.
No. I should have a match, but for it to work, they don't have to match. So then I could import taco from that file I just created. Bar chart. Oh, React Native SVG. Okay. So I'm getting an error now. I'm just going to throw this in here. Why am I calling this taco? No reason. I just want to show you, remember, it's just a little off note, just with naming stuff, just naming things horribly, but it's going to work because this is just the name of the class. I export default this bar chart example. I name it bar chart. Those don't have to match. And whenever I import something, whenever I import a default export, I can call it whatever I want. But I'm not seeing my chart. And I did see that error. Reload. Yeah, it looks like my app is just breaking. But I did see that one error that looked like it was coming from, I mean, I can try to like comment this out just to get it working again. What the heck is going on here? Oh well. All right. Something I want to do anyway. I'm just going to go back with the when you add third-party libraries with React Native, I probably there can, and we'll talk about this more tomorrow. I'll try to find a library where maybe, and I think we will with because the library we're going to use tomorrow is called React Navigation. Oh, oh my gosh, dude, they are changing this so much. This is okay. There can sometimes be an extra step we need to do when we're adding third-party libraries with React Native. For instance, there's this step when we add React Navigation. That's this npx pod install iOS. Sometimes third-party libraries written for React Native, they're just written in JavaScript, and we can use Yarn. All we need to use is Yarn. Other times, they're actually, the third-party packages that we're downloading has native code. So then we have to do like native setup, which they've made a lot easier in recent versions of React Native. You used to have to like link them. But now all we need to do, for example, is we need to like install the iOS version. So we do npx pod install iOS. And then for like Android, to get it working on Android, we need to add this and import here. So we'll look at this tomorrow. So I'm not sure why this is breaking my app, because this doesn't have any of that extra steps. But yet adding this library. So one thing I could do is I could rerun my npx React Native run iOS. No. Something else I can do, if I'm getting these errors, sometimes if I'm like stuck, I can go in and I can remove the app. So all I've essentially done was add that library. Surprised that's. I don't know, I might not be able to use this library, is the moral of this story. React Native is definitely going to be a lot more difficult to use with stuff like this. So if that library, that charting library, maybe hasn't been updated, that, yeah, this is not even like, what does it want me to do? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete my yarn lock file. I'm going to remove this library. And then I'm going to try to build this again. Okay. Oh, something else I should do is in my bar chart. I'm just going to comment that file out. Okay. See if that fixes it. Well, I have no idea what's going on here. Is anyone else getting this error? What did I change? Yeah, I'm gonna need to look at this, but I'm just hoping your apps aren't broken, are they?
Mine's not.
Okay, good. Yeah, this seems like I'm not even getting a good error with this, so might need to like quit my simulator. Quit this. I will say this is one thing. Issues with React Native are not as friendly at times. The setup can be a little more challenging. Maybe all right. Yeah, let's not worry about this if you're not having this issue. Tomorrow, I think this was a pretty good demo though. Hopefully you're seeing that, React Native, you can knowing React. So I think one group is going to do a React Native app, right? Do you really, the one thing you will need is the React navigation. But other than that, can you really think of anything that's going to be too challenging with the building a React Native app? After spending 3 hours with it?
Doesn't really look like it.
Yeah, just the navigation and passing props through that navigation and stuff like that. But
Yeah, and the React navigation that we're going to use, once again, this is like React Router. It's different. It's definitely a different kind of navigation because you don't really have like paths. You don't have paths, like you're not like redirecting, but you're just going to go to different screens. So it's just something that gives us that, and it's going to give us that. So it gives you like this common like drawer navigation. It gives you like tabs and like the stack stuff. But we'll see this tomorrow. It'll take a couple hours with this, and you'll be like essentially the group doing the native app. You'll have all the stuff you need. Cool. Well, let's take a break. Well, let's go to lunch. It's 12:50. Let's just come back at 2. And tomorrow we'll just continue on React Native.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Cool. Let me read Slack out this app.js. Actually, I kind of don't want to if mine's broken, but I think that's really all the code we had for this. We just did everything in app.js. So there's that code. If you want to look at the demo, and cool. And yeah, I'll upload the video. So have a good lunch and we'll see you back at 2.
Sweet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.